Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this live today. It is always so much fun to do an Ask Me Anything. I actually haven't done this kind of live in over 3 months. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I started my company. Many of you guys know over 20 years ago, I simply made a decision, which is what is required to change your life. And I decided I wanted to start a business and go to work as myself. I wanted to leverage my background as a corporate trainer, my professional skills, and my systems that I had as a mom. And I've done exactly that. I started an amazing company from scratch, built a business from scratch. And today, what I do is I support other women who also are looking to take their knowledge, their education, their expertise, their experience, and they want to know how to package themselves and go to work as themselves. And not just to do it in a way where they're not properly compensated because they already have so many great, amazing skills and expertise, right? You're already amazing. You want to know how to get paid properly and how to value your gifts. Hey there, darling. Hey there. I'm so glad you're there. Beautiful. So glad you're there. Tonight I'm doing an Ask Me Anything. So it's really cool. I haven't done one, Claudine, in about 3 months. I'm so excited. And it's when I come live and I answer questions. So they can be random questions. And I always say no question is off the table, obviously, respectfully, and I'll answer them. And it's just my way of paying it forward, of connecting with the people who are in a part of my community. It's just such a tremendous gift to me just to be able to support amazing women like you with showing up and being all of who you are. And so tonight isn't Ask Me Anything. I was introducing myself and just saying, you're smart, you're sharp, you're amazing. And yes, it is possible to take all of your know-how and package it into high-ticket structures, online or offline. I have a lot of clients over the years who have gone to work as themselves. That's what I like to call it. And many of them, when they came to me, they were selling time or trading time for dollars. And I've showed them how to take what they do and look at it differently, how to fully value the transformation that they bring forward to their clients, and how to sell what they do for high ticket being $2,500 or more. So most of my clients sell somewhere in between $2,500 per client to $150,000 per client. And those clients can be corporate clients or they can be individuals who are seeking their services. All right. So I can tell you that as a result of me running this business, that one of the greatest blessings to me has been time and being able to own my time. And one of my biggest dreams, and maybe this has been your dream also, is to travel the world, to be able to run my business from the comfort of my home, like in my home office, or anywhere in the world that I chose to. And I've been able to do that. And I work about 31 hours a month servicing my clients. And it was a dream for me when I had this business model, 2 decades ago. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if it was going to be sustainable, but I bet on myself. And so I work with women who also bet on themselves as well. So let me tell you how the Ask Me Anything goes. You can post a question. You can post any question that you have here, and then I'll answer it. I'll put the question on the board, and then I'll answer it as well. And as long as there are questions, I'll stay on. And if there are not any questions, then I'll pop off. All right. So we're using a couple of different platforms. So I'll occasionally have to look at my phone because there are questions other places, and I need to grab them. Let me just grab one right now. And that way I can make sure that I keep up with all of the questions that are here tonight. I'm so excited about Ask Me Anything. One of the greatest blessings to me also was not only being able to run the business and run the business anywhere that I chose around the world, but also to be able to be there for my family when they needed me most. Initially, it was my kids, because when I got started, my kids were young. I started when my oldest son was 4. He's almost 25. And I created a transition plan for myself. I literally said, by the time my kids are going to school full time, I want to have figured this out. And I did. And I always say this to my moms out there, because I know that many of you are looking to build a business that will get you free, that will allow you to have the freedom to do what you want to do and be where you want to be. And you don't want to have to compromise in terms of revenue, right? Because you want to have built a business that can allow you to be where you want to be, but also you want to have a good quality of life, and you need income to do that. I get that. That was me. That was me 20 years ago. It was a desire I had. And it's been the greatest gift for me to be that kind of mom. And then also, my husband developed kidney disease. Many of you guys know this story. Oops, I just dropped something. My husband developed kidney disease over 15 years ago and went on dialysis. And when he did, it was a really scary time for us. And I was so grateful that I had my time, I owned my time, so that I could stand in the gap for my family from the point of the kidney disease and the adjustments we had to make, but then also through the kidney transplant process. So and I'm just saying to you that a lot of times we think I'll wait and I'll build my business when the circumstances are ideal. But I can tell you that because I built my business through the least ideal situation, when my family needed me most, I was there for them. So I don't really coach from a place of using your excuses as your reasons. Your excuses are useless to your family members when they really need you. And I hope you hear my heart on this one. Okay. So you can start posting your questions here. Tonight is Ask Me Anything. I'll answer any questions that are on the floor. And this is always so popular. I do these like once every 3 months, every 4 months. It's my way of paying it forward and just connecting with the people in my community. You can post whatever you have here and I'll answer it. And I have some questions. I dropped my phone, so let me grab it. But I have questions also on a different format, on a different platform, and I'll look at my phone occasionally and grab those questions. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So Claudine, I like that question. It's the first question. Look at that picture. Look at those legs. Okay. She's amazing. And what she does, she has a personal training business and she's a great and amazing coach, not only as a personal trainer, but a life trainer. And she's really terrific with women and getting women to believe in themselves again and be consistent around taking care of their bodies first. And I can tell you she is her product. Her question is, okay, cool. I have a question. Do you have a specific place in your home to create content? And the answer is yes. That's a great question. I am in my office, my home office currently. And this is primarily a place where I create content. And I also like to create content in my garden. So let me tell you why I like to create content typically in the same places, because then I don't have to change my lighting. Then I know that my computer is going to be framed always in the same place. And so it's a lot easier for me to be consistent. So what isn't as convenient for me is if I have to set something up. And a lot of us as busy women, busy moms, and just busy in our lives, we don't have the time to set up what we're going to do. But if I can just sit down at my computer and then just, pop the camera on and then just do my lives, it makes it a lot easier for me to be more frequent, and being able to deliver content that's consistent. And I do this wherever I am. Even if I travel, I'll find a place right there that I typically, will set up where I'm going to do my lives. And I'm usually pretty consistent about it. It might even be something like if I'm walking on the beach. You guys have seen a lot of my beach content. If you've done the Leverage Up series, I typically every morning when I would do my walks, I would say to myself, that's when I'm going to do my lives. And so it was always very consistent for me to be able to get my lives out there. What's not consistent is when I have to keep changing the background. So did that answer your question? I hope that answered your question. So consistency is the key. And then the other thing I want to say about content is I'm not a big fan of manufacturing just any content. I like it. It has to fit in my life. You know what I mean? Like I typically do my lives at the end of my day. I've already had dinner with my family. Today I made paella for everyone from scratch. It was so good. And then I sit and hang out with my family. And then when I'm done with that, I'm able to then go and, shoot whatever it is that I want to do. So I'm usually pretty consistent with being consistent around my content because I don't allow content to interfere with my family time. And I also want to say this for those of you who have kids. I didn't really do a whole lot of content with my kids over the years, and I still don't. Now that they're older, they have their own brand. Okay. So occasionally they will grace me with their presence, and I might get to do an interview with them, or they might, share something live. But I'm a coach. I am online. My kids don't necessarily want to be or need to be. And so I keep it separate. But I know a lot of times people like to pull it all together, but I think it gets really, tiresome over time. Kids want their privacy, and my brand is my brand. They are their brand, and that's that. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, but today is Ask Me Anything, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have. So post them here. And I love doing these kind of lives because for me, it's just my way of giving back. All right. So let me pull one off of my phone. Okay. Okay, Kelly. So Kelly wants to know uh, how to decide if you have a product that's worth being a high ticket product. Okay. So how to decide if the product is high ticket or not. This is a question that I get a lot. So I don't know what your background is. So if you can send me a text, I mean, not a text, but an email, let me know what you do professionally. I can make it definitely detailed to you. But I'll say this, that whether you're selling a soft skill or whether it is a hard skill that you're looking to monetize. So a hard skill is something that you do professionally. All right. It could be all of your years of experience. A soft skill is something like, it's something that you do in your life that creates high yield. So for me, I started my business as a mom coach. I had these really great systems to help any woman find time for herself and her life. So it was a soft skill. All right. Now, my professional skill, my hard skill is corporate training. So I'm really great at instructional design and helping people authentically create their own content that's high value. Right. So when you're thinking of taking a soft skill or a hard skill and you're thinking of what should I charge for that, the main thing to think about is the value and the transformation that you provide. And it, quite frankly, is the thing that most people are not thinking about at all. Most people are thinking about getting content out, or, getting a course out. But the truth of the matter is, none of those things matter if they don't create results. I've been a coach for over 20 years, and I can tell you this, that a lot of my clients come back over and over again. The average client comes back about 3 times. So why is that? And it's the lifetime value of working with the customer because they get results. When clients get results, they just come back over and over again. So I've never been that person that just says, let me just sell anything. I'm not going to sell anything. Let me just work with anyone. I don't want to just work with anyone. I want to work with people that I can support, and I know I can get them to the finish line. And that's really important. And when you do that, that's what you become known for. And you build a level of trust within within your service base. Clients, that's what they know you for. So when you're charging high ticket, clients don't typically blink at what you're doing because they know there's value in terms of what you do. Like my clients, I've always charged high ticket, even as a mom coach. My lowest service for group coaching was like $2,400 for a year of working with me back then, 20 years ago. And I've always sold high ticket, and I've always delivered amazing value to my clients. It's the only focus that I have. So I hope that answered your question. And if you have any questions, you can post them here. Tonight is Ask Me Anything, and I come on, I answer any questions that you have. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. And if there are not any questions, then I'll pop off. All right. My only goal is to be a resource to you. You see me here all the time. Sometimes people have questions about all kinds of things, like how'd you get started, or I've always hired my kids in my business. My daughter's been an intern in my company forever, up until, well, she worked for me last summer also, but she's done like all of my events and things like that. Sometimes people have questions about things like that. I'd love to share and just pull back, just the layers and show you, what I've done to be able to grow my business. And I hope it supports you. All right. Maddie writes, I am working on business system, clarify who I am and what I do, creating content. However, I would like to complete my book. I want, what do you suggest as a priority? Should I continue both? Okay. So that's such a great question. I love that picture of you, Maddie. And so it all depends, right? So if it were me and I were creating a book, I would probably think, does my system relate to my book? So if the system you're building relates to your book, then they kind of go hand in hand, right? Because likely you're going to use the book And also, people will be able to use the system that goes with the book. What does that mean? That means that sometimes people write books and they love what you have, but they want more from you. And that more might be that system that you're recommending here, that you're writing about here. So I would first think about, how am I going to use this book? How is this book going to be used? And if that book's going to be used in conjunction with your system, then I would probably get clear on the book, go work through the outline, and then as I'm building the guide for each of the chapters, then I would say, okay, I'm going to just design the program as I get through each chapter. It'll be really easy. You'll already be inside of each and every chapter as you're writing the book. It'll make it flow a lot easier to build the system as you go through each of the chapters. You'll see the flow. You'll have an understanding of the utility of the book. You'll start thinking about who the book is for and how they're going to use it. So, for example, if you thought about like a company or something like that, there would be a company that you might think, okay, everybody's going to get this book. And then how do you want them to implement the book? That would be the system, right? So it'll help you build out the guide, the workbook that'll go along with it, and any deeper learning, any micro courses that might go along to help people really implement the things that you teach. So I hope that that supports you. That was a really great question. Tonight is Ask Me Anything. And if you have a question for me, I'll answer it here. I haven't done one of these since in 3 months. I say 3 months, but it was last time I did one, it was in November. So that's almost 4 months. So, and I love to do them because it's just my way of paying it forward and answering any questions that you might have that, email, it doesn't happen. Or a lot of times when I come live on Mondays, I'm usually just teaching on a topic and it's less interactive. And this is my way of interacting with you and answering any questions that you have. And my only goal is, as always, is to be a resource to the people that are here in the community. And, we have such great women doing so many amazing things that if you have a question, I'm always here for you. And if you ever want to figure out how I can support you, you can always go to miaredrick.com. I'll just type it here as well, miaredrick.com. Are there any other questions on the floor? Let me pull up on my phone. Okay. All right, let me read this one. Okay. All right. So Latanya wants to know, how do I get started pitching myself to media? Right. So how do you get started pitching yourself to the media? So this is such a great question. It's something that I've done a lot over the years. And I think one of the first things, if you ever think about doing media, is just really getting comfortable with introducing who you are, what you do, who you serve. That's really important. And being able to do it really succinctly. And it's one of the things that I think, with a little practice, everyone can be great on TV. And TV is just incredible leverage. So media, when I think about media, I think about, television, local, and I also think about national opportunities. And I also think about print media. Print is really great. Think about media. You think about social media opportunities where you can go on a podcast or you can go on a vlog to share your message. It's a really great way to kind of get exposed to another audience immediately. And what I love about media also is the fact that it just does the work for us over and over again. It's like you do the work one time and that interview is out there working for you over and over and over again. If you're really thoughtful about it, it can really support you. So if you want to pitch to media, one of the first things I suggest is, what media are you watching? Like, is there a specific show that you would like to go on? And if there is a specific show that you'd like to go on, make sure you watch your segments. And that's really, to me, one of the most basic things. A lot of times people want to go on shows. They've not spent time watching the shows that they want to go on to get an idea of what kind of topics do they like people to talk about? What are the segments that really appeal to you? And then, then you can start pitching those shows. I've done hundreds of local news shows. I've done tons of segments nationally, and as a segment expert. And so typically that's how I've always pitched myself, as a segment expert. And it's a great way to build your brand recognition, build credibility for what you have, build credibility for any of the assets that you have, your books, anything that you have coming up. And I love media also because it's a tremendous way to build an audience and also for you to share what you do with another audience, like people who have a problem and you have the opportunity to be directly in front of them, sharing exactly, what the problems are. Now, inside of our community, my coaching community, I actually show my clients how to pitch segments, um, how to pitch the segments, whether they're writing the segments or delivering the segments. And it's longer than what I could provide tonight, but I can tell you that they pitch and they get themselves featured in media all the time. And one of my clients was recently, just a couple of weeks ago, featured in Black Enterprise. Another client just talked to you today is going to be on this. It's the Sherry Shepherd show in the next 3 weeks. I have another client who in the last 6 months was 6 months, 7 months was on the Kelly Clarkson show. I have another client who was on I don't remember the name of the show that Gayle King is on. I think it's CBS, I think it is. Well, she was interviewed by Gayle King. So it just goes on and on. So it's just knowing how to pitch yourself, how to stand in your value when you're doing it, how not to be salesy, but be conversational when you are in front of the media. It's a really great way to get in front of an amazing audience and have fun. And I think about what it is that you do. Think about what your ideal audience are watching those segments and shows, and pitch those producers of the shows that your audience is watching. I hope that answered your question, LaTanya. I am glad to be of service to you. Today's Ask Me Anything. You can write your question here and I'll answer any of your questions. And if there are not any questions, then I'll pop off. Again, my goal is just to be a great resource to you. And if you're watching the replay, as always, I know what you're going to say is, oh man, I missed it, right? Like I missed it. But I do try to pop in once every 3 months or so to answer any questions that might be on the floor that you have from me. You see a lot of great content, sometimes some really great quotes. Sometimes people want to know, just how did things happen? How did things unfold? Or how do you run a business when you have young children or whatever it is? And I'm always here to answer any questions that you might have for me, because maybe that might be the one thing that you hear that makes all the difference and gets you to show up for yourself consistently, or, to take that step and launch and reach your dreams. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? I'll answer any questions that are on the floor for any of you that are live here. And let me see if I have any other ones that were sent to me. 1 second. Okay. All right. So it doesn't look like I have any other questions here that I can answer. And then are there any here? So if there are, I'll answer them. If not, then I'm going to pop off. I want to thank you for your time tonight. It's been amazing. And it's always a blessing just to have the opportunity to answer the questions live and in real time for any of you who are working on taking your ideas and you want to package them into high ticket products, online or offline. Know that you can do it. And it just takes that commitment and making that decision to start. All right. And sometimes getting your questions answered makes all the difference. That's why I want to come on here tonight to answer anything that you might have for me. You guys took it easy on me tonight, right? So last call. Any questions anyone have for me that you've been wanting to ask about, maybe something related to you growing your business, building your business, how to run the business with a family, any of those kind of questions, because those are all really important. And I can tell you, like, one of the things that really meant a lot to me when I got started in my business was knowing that it was possible. And the reality is that I had mentioned this the other day on Monday night. When I started my business and I wanted to work from home, I actually didn't see any examples of other people who were really working from home. I did not have any neighbors that were running a business that were working from home. They were professional people, but they mostly were leaving, each and every day. And I had this radical idea to want to work from the comfort of my home or anywhere that I chose. And I want you to know that it's possible and that, it's not imaginary. Sometimes you hear something, and I think today with the internet, you don't know what's real, what's not real. But I've worked from my home for 2 decades. And it's been an honor to do so. And it's allowed me to show up in tremendous ways in my life, for myself, for my family. And that means a lot to me. And I know that that's the reason why you want to build a business. It's not just for the sake of money. Money is the way that allows you to create stability in your family, and having a profitable business is what makes it sustainable. But the truth of the matter is, the joyous part is being able to own your time and being able to live life on your own demands. Any last questions before I sign off? And I hope that as a result of being here tonight, that you heard something that will move you forward, and something that makes you know that it's absolutely possible for you to build a business around your life. Okay. It's absolutely possible for you to build a business that is time rich, meaning where you're not just trading time for dollars. Okay. Um, yes, you should send it to review before sending out. Send it to me on the email, on our coaching email, Maddie. And then I will review it before you send it out. Okay. So I absolutely would love to see it up front before we send it out, right, to prospects. All right. So that's a great question. I appreciate it. So just sometimes we don't know that it's possible, but it is possible. You can build this business from the comfort of your home or anywhere that you choose. It's absolutely possible. And 1 year from now, your entire life can be recognizable if you step up and step into investing in yourself at the highest and the tallest level. And it's really important. It's never been the smallest. You're welcome. It's never been the small investments that's changed my life. It's always been the bigger ones, and of time, money, and energy and effort. And that's what it takes to change your life. And if you're looking at what you've been doing and it's just not been working for you, even though you're smart and amazing, check my email from yesterday. I did post it here yesterday. Look at the message from yesterday and figure out what your type is, right? The kind of type of entrepreneur you are. But also just know that sometimes when we're teaching ourselves, it just doesn't work. I don't care how smart you are. The blind spots are things that we don't see. And sometimes you just need another perspective. You just need shoulders that you can stand on that can make all the difference for you. And I hope that as a result of these types of lives, that you understand that it is possible, that I am you and you are me. And when I got started 20 years ago, I just had a dream of what I wanted to do, and to be able to actualize it and now teach women step by step how they, even if they don't have a product, they can take their ideas and put them in structures that they sell for high ticket, that really set them up for businesses that are unrecognizable. Maddie, you were just on the call we had on Tuesday night, and you heard firsthand from a client who just sold her very first product for 9 hours of work for $15,000. Never in her entire life. Okay. She's an educator. Never in her entire life has she ever, she just, usually she was trading time for dollars. And she created a product. She sold it for $15,000 for 9 hours of her time. And, sometimes it's just what you don't know. She already had the expertise, the education, and the background. She didn't know how to package together her knowledge into a high ticket structure. And as a direct result of us coaching together and learning things that she didn't know and implementing them, they've made all the difference for her in her business. And will she do this one time? No, she'll do it over and over and over and over and over again. And it's life changing when you understand that, you are the product, and it is possible to monetize what you do at the highest and the tallest level. And I hope that you'll step into that for yourself this year, because literally it's life changing. For me, it's just very touching watching women step into it. And if I can support you in some way, then reach out at miaredrick.com. You can always watch my webinar. It's a great first step for those of you who want to understand, where do I get started? How do I get started? Watch my webinar. It's a great first step. Second step, I would say, if you have questions, is either my master training that's online. Great start to learn how to package your knowledge, or my strategy session. So we have either myself or someone on my team you can speak to, and they'll help you figure out what's the first step in you taking your thoughts, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise in packaging it into a high ticket product on or offline. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes it's just not what you think. All right. I love you. I hope that you have an amazing night. It was an honor to be able to share with you this evening and have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Good night.